Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting of the City Council to order at 6:02 p.m. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Navarrete. Wilson.
Here.
Tillman. Williams. Gardner. Patton. Smith.
And for the record, Alderman Tillman has excused absence for tonight's meeting. We will wait, won't wait for Alderman Navarrete, but as soon as he gets here, we'll announce his presence. Could everyone do me a favor and please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? We're in the section of public comment. Is there anyone who would like to comment on any item on the agenda tonight? Any member of the public would like to comment on any item that we have on the agenda tonight? We'll keep it open for a second. If anyone would like to comment, please step to the mic, and you have 3 minutes to comment on any item on the agenda. Not, is there a motion to deviate to take up the 3 matters under informational items to be accepted? Motion made by Alderman Patton, second by Alderman Smith. All in favor? Tonight we have a presentation by ShotSpotter. I will ask our chief to come up and introduce the individuals from ShotSpotter. They have a presentation for the City Council. Take a couple questions. Chief, if you can briefly introduce, and then later we'll have some great news that ShotSpotter is giving us tonight as well.
I'd like to introduce Ron and Trish from ShotSpotter. They're going to give you a brief demonstration here on, well, I'll let them talk about it, on the system, how it works. We recently negotiated a reduced price, which is a good thing for all of us here. So I will turn it over to Ron and Trish.
And thank you, Mayor and Council. We really appreciate the opportunity to be with you this evening and talk with you about why people deploy ShotSpotter, like you have here in Calumet City, and also look at a little bit of how it works, and most importantly, give you a chance to ask us some questions, which I'm sure you have, about the product, service, or company that you all may have never had a chance to ask us before, as we've been installed here in the city for a couple of years now. So we felt it was important to give you that chance. I'm joined by Ron Teachman. Ron is going to talk with you or walk you through all this material, and during the process of doing that, he's going to talk about a couple of things in his background that are relevant to what he's discussing with you here this evening. Thank you.
Ron, before you begin, I'd like to recognize Alderman Gardner for the record, who's in attendance at the meeting. You can go ahead, Ron.
Thank you. Let me begin by thanking you for the time you've given us this evening to address you. By way of introduction, for the record, the name is Ron Teachman. A brief introduction because it lends to my comments some perspective. I've been with the company just about 6 years. It'll be 6 years October. More relevant, 30 years in law enforcement. 8 of those years I served as chief of police in 2 cities where I installed ShotSpotter. So I've had experience as a customer over about a 10-year period before I joined the company. And that installation included, as the chief said, contractual negotiations, procurement, funding sources, overseeing installation, and then 2 more important things, I think, is getting the officers to adopt it through an onboarding and training process, and we're always looking to improve that in every city where we're located, and also socializing in the community, and I hope tonight's meeting furthers that effort. We came here to welcome your questions as well, whether you interrupt me now during the discussion or at the end during Q&A. As Trish said, we really like to address, in the short time I have, not only how it works, what it does, but the why behind ShotSpotter. And the reality is, as you know, in some neighborhoods, even tonight in Calumet City, there may be gunfire. The reality is here, in cities across the country, we're in 120 cities from coast to coast. This is not a regional phenomenon. People don't call 911. Most gunfire goes unreported through the conventional communication channels of 911, or calling the business line, or flagging down a squad car, which means that without ShotSpotter, the police are only seeing a very small slice of the gunfire activity. Nationally, that average is under 20%. And the opportunity to get to the scene, to save a life, to render critical first aid, to gather evidence, to identify the perpetrator, to assure the community by their presence at the officer's care, their opportunity is far less than 20% through 911. Meanwhile, without ShotSpotter, and I apologize, the lights are dimming some of the effect here, shootings can continue unabated. Now, the reality is, for your residents, without ShotSpotter, they're expecting to see a police car when shots are fired in their neighborhood. They project omniscience to the police, given that they watch police shows and every crime gets solved and every bad guy gets arrested. So if they think the police know and the police don't show, if they look out their window and do not see a squad car from Calumet City Police, if they think the police know and the police don't show, what might they think about their police department? They might think the police don't care. And that invites a discussion about race and class and a host of other issues that really make it problematic for police to bond with the community, to engage, to build trust. And as I said, race and class are what some people call deliberate indifference. This is a sampling of what we see in cities across the country with just 911 and how poorly informed the police are. In fact, my own experience in South Bend, we're only getting 11% through 911. And how do we know this? Because after installing ShotSpotter, we're going to ask the police department to help us track that going forward. How often do you get a 911 call when we give you a ShotSpotter alert? And you can see how poorly 911 is helping. Quickly, why don't people call? And this is, again, typical throughout the country. It's not a regional issue. They're not sure the noise is gunfire. They think someone else is going to call. They're afraid of retaliation, that the shooter or the shooter's group might see them talking to the police, or they've just given up because they haven't seen a police response historically. So we say, what if there was a way to address all these concerns? And we talk about detect, protect, connect. Detect the gunshots, better protect the community, and connect the police to the community. Now, I promised to talk about how it works. Let me just briefly explain how the operation is. We have come to Cal City, and we've set up a dome of protection, acoustic sensors on rooftops of buildings and occasionally on utility poles. We know precisely where they're located. When a gunshot happens, that acoustic event radiates out, and the system detects it, locates it, and then timestamps it. That's how we locate it. And using mathematical formula by the speed of sound, and knowing how long it took each sensor to detect it, we can precisely locate where the shooting occurred. And every gunshot gets a latitude and longitude. Then we send the information to an incident review center, where trained acoustic technicians review the incident, add their expertise to what the computer has suggested as gunfire. They listen to the audio recording, they look at the waveform configuration, and they look at the sensor participation. That is, if I set off a bottle rocket or an M80 outside this building, that's an omnidirectional event. But if I shoot a gun, that's a very linear or directional activity, and the sensors participate more in line with the direction of the gunfire. A great way to distinguish gunfire from fireworks, backfire, jackhammers, snowplows, things that go bang, boom, or pop in a city environment. And again, we're sending the police in under 60 seconds from trigger pull. Now that information that we send goes simultaneously to the 911 communication center, to desktops at headquarters, but more importantly, out to the field, to tablets and laptops that the officers have in their squad cars, to their phones, and even to their smart watches. And we perform both on Android and iOS platforms, so we can give that communication out regardless of the type of device that the officer has. Quickly about Protect. How do we protect the public and also help protect the police? Well, let me give you a visual of what the police are seeing when there's a ShotSpotter alert. They'll be in their squad car, for example. They'd hear a distinct sound. That noise, unlike other things that they would hear, like a telephone call or a text message, would have them look at their device. As you see, a typical call, the number of rounds fired in this little teardrop, an 82-foot radius or a 25-meter radius, that's our initial crime scene. The nearest street address, a timestamp to the millisecond, and then we give qualitative information about the event if it's relevant, such as, is there more than one shooter? Do they have a high-capacity gun? If there was a full automatic, there'd be a little window here telling them that as well. Again, number of rounds fired, street address, timestamp, and qualitative information. And then we give them an investigative lead summary while they're en route with a breakdown of each shot fired and the sequence of shots. Why is that important? You get two people shooting at each other and they're both claiming self-defense. This identifies who shot first. Now, let me give you another example. Officer would get that distinct audio that you heard. They'd look at the screen. If they want to hear the gunfire for themselves, we publish out that audio recording. They click on this arrow. You heard 7 rounds, which matches what is in the teardrop. Then, let's say, for example, I'm new to the Cal City Police Department, or I've recently been reassigned to a new beat. And the gunfire happens in Tricia's beat, my colleague. She's tied up on another call, car accident, domestic violence call. I'm now going to her neighborhood and I'm not that familiar. Well, this Street View icon, we preload the address that they're being sent to into Google Maps, so there's no need to type that in. We automatically let them pan the neighborhood, and now they can make a tactical approach by identifying a landmark building and not just driving into the danger zone with an active shooter. We can actually help them navigate by preloading where they're located and where they're being dispatched to, and they can use whatever's already on their phone, Apple Maps, Google Maps, or Waze. Last example, this is actually a real case not far from here in Chicago. Imagine somebody calling about what they thought were fireworks with 18 rounds fired. But you can see ShotSpotter alerted on this, identifying the number of rounds fired, high-capacity multiple shooter. You can see what looks like a T intersection and railroad tracks. But again, click on Street View, and now you see it's a railroad bridge. By informing the police of the actual situation, we can dispatch enough officers for community protection and officer protection. In this case, hopefully they have 4 officers, 1 at each end of the bridge and a couple at street level. But you wouldn't have any of this information from a phone call 780 feet away. And that's the average distance that our customers tell us a call from 911 is to the crime scene. The officers can acquaint themselves with gunfire activity prior to coming to work, whether regular duty, overtime, or extra duty, simply by looking at their device and seeing the teardrops showing the number of rounds fired. So let's say that I'm working overtime or an extra duty here. I can pull up that report by clicking on the teardrop, look at the CAD number, the RMS number, and acquaint myself by what's happened in my last shift 24 hours ago. I've been off for a couple of days, click where it says 24 goes to 3, and the screen populates. Been off for a week's vacation, similarly, I can click and so forth. The real value to your residents, your constituents, is now when they look out the window, they see a response from your police agency. They see a comprehensive response that leads to identifying perpetrators and holding them accountable. They see them getting there quickly enough to render emergency first aid, to transport. Time is tissue, as they say in the hospital. Set up the crime scene, talk with witnesses, gather forensic evidence. But we've asked them, before they take down the yellow tape, and I think this is critical to community engagement and trust, before you take down the yellow tape, go a couple of houses in each direction. Knock on doors, ring doorbells, and if no one answers, you leave a door hanger. But if someone does answer, particularly that person who historically never saw a police officer, now, when they answer the door, we ask your officers to just briefly say this. Sorry if I woke you. I realize it's now 3 o'clock in the morning. But I'm guessing the gunshots next door woke you. because I could see your bedroom light was on. Are you okay? My partner, Trish, and I are here because we care about you. Do you have children at home? Were they awakened by the gunfire? Do they need to speak to a police officer to feel safe? We don't want your child sleeping in a bathtub, afraid to sleep in their own bed. Forgive me, I should have introduced myself. My name is Ron Teachman. I know we've never met. I usually work the midnight shift when you're sleeping. Here's my business card. My cell phone number is right on here. If you give me a few minutes to talk to the other neighbors, so I'm not just talking to you if anybody's watching, but give me a few minutes and give me a phone call, if you would, rather than we talk in the doorway now where you're afraid. And let me know what's happening with that house next door, what's happening on your street. Whatever you tell me can be kept confidential. But the better informed I am, the better guardian I can be for you and your family. We're proud to be working with the Cal City Police Department and help change the narrative from the police don't care to the police are there. With ShotSpotter in Cal City, you can detect, protect, connect, and make a community safer. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Do any aldermen have any questions? This matter is on the agenda for tonight. Again, if you have any questions for Ron and his team. If not, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
While we're still in deviation, I'd like to take up a couple other matters. I'd like to recognize our fire chief, and there's a letter on the agenda from Thomas Stacker, who sent a letter to my office and the fire chief thanking him and the department for saving his life. So we want to recognize our fire chief and the fire department and give them a round of applause for that as well. We also want to recognize our Deputy Fire Chief, Pete Bendinelli. Many of you know he has been aggressive in getting grants, and to the pleasure of the alderman, he received and secured a $200,000 grant for fire equipment for the fire department. And just want to recognize and thank him as well for helping with that $200,000 grant for the city. And before I move on to the other items, this is a kind of surprise for the next person. All the employees wanted to recognize Val Williams and Richard Chambers, not only for all of the work that they're doing on our grants, but also for the tremendous efforts to foster economic development and improve the lives of residents in the city of Calumet City. And we want to thank you for your tireless dedication and service for over 20 years. And we just want to thank you and recognize you and Richard for getting us all the money that we've been getting in Calumet City. So you want to come up and get these, Val?
Mr. Mayor, can you come do a snapshot? Any other alderman who would like to join us? Center.
Val ain't going nowhere, y'all. She's still here. We just want to recognize, say you give everyone their flowers while they're here, so we want to make sure we recognize you, Val. The next two items, I would ask the city council to allow for, I'm sorry, for the record, we'd like to also recognize Alderman Navarrete is here at the meeting. Thank you, clerk. We'd like to stand for a moment of silence for our retired engineer, Telpri Picciarelli. And I want to recognize the Police and Fire Commission, who they're all here, who attended the funeral of Picciarelli, who was an engineer. He retired and he passed away 2 weeks ago, Chief. And the family has been long serving to Calumet City, so I would ask everyone to stand for a moment of silence. Thank you, everyone. I would ask you to remain standing as we also recognize, many of you know Officer Ella French passed away, horrific accident or horrific shooting. We had the procession come through Calumet City. I want to thank the entire police department, fire department, for not only honoring her memory, but I would ask the city council for a moment of silence for her life as well. Thank you, everyone. Is there a motion to return to the regular order of business?
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Williams, second by Alderman Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
The next set of items on the agenda are approval of minutes. We'd like to remove the minutes from August 12th. They will be placed on a future agenda. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? If so, can someone make a motion to approve the minutes as stated on the agenda?
So moved.
Second. Motion made by Alderman Williams, second by Alderman Gardner. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Yes. Williams,
Yes.
Gardner. Yes. Patton. Yes. Smith.
Yes.
Navarrete.
Yes. Thank you. Next item on the agenda are reports of standing committees. Finance, Alderman Gardner.
No finance report tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Alderman, do you want to mention the tax seminar coming up?
To the residents, there is a tax seminar joint with all the aldermen here, my colleagues. It's going to be held on the 7th of September. That's going to be at 755 Pulaski Avenue at TF North High School. It's going to start promptly at 6:30 to 8:30. You will be able to file the appeals that night. If you have any other information or need any other information, please contact my office, 708-891-8195. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Williams, Public Safety.
Nothing at this time, Mayor. But I do want to thank the presenters of the ShotSpotter technology. It is definitely something that we appreciate and we use not quite frequently, but we use it when we need to. So I think we are leading the South Suburbs as far as technology. So we just appreciate you all coming out and giving us a better understanding of how it works. Thank you.
Public Utilities. Thank you, Alderman Williams. Public Utilities, Alderman Smith.
Yes, the Public Utilities Board Committee will be having a meeting in the upcoming month of September at the first available date. Details will be published.
Thank you, Alderman. Ordinance and resolutions, Alderman Tillman has excused absence. He has submitted his committee minutes from his last meeting, so we'll make sure that all the aldermen and the public will put it up so you can see the minutes. Health, Education, and Welfare, Alderman Patton. Permits and licensing, Alderman Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. August 19th, permits and licenses met for our committee meeting. We discussed the process of acquiring a business license and the business application, the possibility of streamlining and digitizing the business application in its entirety, as well as other items that will be placed with Ordinance and Resolutions Committee for review and sent back to my committee. Once that is done, we will reschedule a second follow-up. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Wilson. Public Works, Alderman Navarrete.
No report this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Under City Council reports, I will give my report after we go into executive session. Madam Clerk, do you have a council report? City Treasurer Tarker.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the council, we've been talking about the newly penned agreement for our electrical aggregation lately. Did want to let all the aldermen know, if you don't already, that the letters went out to all the residents this past week. We've been fielding some phone calls explaining to folks what exactly this means for the residents of the city of Calumet City. It's a little bit different this time. As Mayor Jones has already explained, that we've gone with some percentage of sustainable energy for our city. We're going to be receiving a green city designation from the EPA, which I'm sure we'll all be very proud of. If anybody has any questions regarding the aggregation, they can certainly direct them to my office. My telephone number is 708-891-8130. We have had a couple of calls. The majority of them, it's been the fault of the auto stuffer, because they didn't get all the information that they should have within the envelopes. But other than that, it's been going very smoothly. Once again, if you have any questions regarding the electrical aggregation program for any of the residents listening in at home, my number is 708-891-8130. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Alderman, we'll start on this side. Alderman Smith, council report.
Yeah, first and foremost, I just want to thank School District 157 for the back-to-school giveaway invite. Our office was able to give over 100 plus supplies to school families and kids and so forth. Also, I wanted to inform the residents that our office has received information on locations that will be available for our upcoming 7th Ward neighborhood meeting. So that schedule will be published in the upcoming newsletter. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Patton.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to thank everybody that came out to the third installation of the Coffee and Conversation with Your Alderman this past Saturday. There was a lot of good ideas brought up, and one that I particularly enjoyed from a resident that wants to see the 6th Ward in the city as a whole more beautified, is putting together a program similar to what we do at Christmas time for the holiday decorating contest, for a best house on the block contest to be judged by the aldermen, because as this resident pointed out, if one neighbor plants flowers, everybody else on the block doesn't want to be left behind, and they plant flowers in front of their house to try and outdo the neighbor. So that's something that we're considering doing and looking into bringing in next spring. So keep an eye out for that, but start making your plans now to plant your flowers and do your landscaping next spring, because I think the 6th Ward's going to be bringing up a Best House on the Block program. So that's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Alderman, are you interested in having a competition among your colleagues?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Last Christmas, I had a competition with the former 2nd Ward Alderman, Alderman's wives, and I think the 6th Ward blew the 2nd Ward out of the water on the holiday decorating. Although I think
That is not factual.
I think the final judging was skewed a little bit because the 2nd Ward house came in first and the 6th Ward house came in second. But I think we had to throw out the scores from the East Russian judge be the East German judge to get us right. But yes, absolutely. Anybody next spring that wants to put together a competition like this in their ward, I'll happily.
Second ward accepts the challenge.
Absolutely. All right.
Well, to the public, you heard it first. We have a challenge among the aldermen to best house on the block, and I think that's a great idea, so let's make it happen. Thank you, Alderman.
Thank you,
Alderman Gardner?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank all the Fifth Ward residents and the school district in partnership with the book bag giveaway and supply drive. Lots of children received school supplies, flu vaccinations, COVID-19 vaccinations. The mayor even showed up. We were lucky to see him. Our city officials, thank you all for coming out and supporting the event. Treasurer Tarka, thank you for supporting the event. City Clerk, thank you for supporting the event. Special thanks to Congressman Robin Kelly. She showed up. It was exciting to see her and exciting to see her interact with some of the parents of the district. Also, on the 13th of September, we will have the town hall meeting and conversation with the mayor. That is going to be located at the St. Andrew's Church, Jesus Shepherd of Souls. The date has been reconfirmed for September the 13th at 6 o'clock to 7:30 p.m. That's located at 155th and Freeland. Also, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you guys are more than welcome to reach out to my office, 708-891-8195. That's all I got, Mayor. Thank you.
And the mayor will show up for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Gardner. Alderman Williams?
Thank you, Mayor. A few items. First, go down to God who makes all things possible. I want to thank the sponsors of the 3rd and 4th Ward picnic. The sponsors will be recognized at a later meeting. I will be asking for a resolution to officially acknowledge those that were very instrumental in sponsoring the event, a successful event. We gave away over 400 book bags, a lot of school supplies. We also did vaccinations and testing and a lot of other things we did. So I will acknowledge the sponsors at a later date. And I want to thank the residents that came out that also participated in the event. Reminder that there is free food box giveaway every Wednesday at 10 a.m. So please feel free to come by and pick up a food box starting at 10 a.m. while supplies last. There will be no ward meeting in the month of September because of the holiday. So we will see you all again in October, the first Monday of October at 6:30 at Downey Park, 300 Jeffrey Avenue. Of course, it's 6:30 promptly. And the job and career fair for September will be postponed to a later date due to some we expected COVID restrictions. We don't think that it's a good idea to have a large gathering like that. So that date will be forthcoming, and I want to publicly acknowledge Val Williams for a job well done, and we just appreciate your commitment and dedication and all of your efforts that you do in the grant writing. And just to kind of give everyone a little bit of history, Val has helped me in my other capacity secure some grants, and for that I want to publicly thank you. So that's it, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Wilson?
Thank you, Mayor. I will use a little bit of Tillman's time and mine. Happy 29th birthday, Mayor.
Thank you.
He's 29 now. Hooter Wings years. I would like to say thank you to Higher Ground Community Church, led by Pastor Anthony Tyler and First Lady Marlene Tyler, for hosting a back-to-school block party in the 2nd Ward this past Sunday. Thank you to Clerk Figgs, Alderman Gardner for coming out, as well as Chief Kolash, Deputy Chief Black, and both the police and fire departments. Residents, if you see our police and fire departments, please have positive things to say. They engage our community in a way I've not seen before. And I was in awe by the pickup games against the kids for basketball and just making everybody feel included. Thank you, guys. I want to say happy and productive school year to all the students of Calumet City. The 2nd Ward Town Hall meeting will be Wednesday, September 15th at 6 p.m. at the Public Safety Training Center, 24 State Street. Come discuss plans for the 2nd Ward. I will send official invitations to their entire city council as well as all of our department heads. We do have a confirmation from the mayor that he will be there. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm writing Alderman. I was writing all your
you
requests.
confirmed for the 15th for the second ward
Yes, we are.
town hall meeting. Around town, congratulations to Urban Art Studios on their grand opening set for this Saturday at 1 p.m. inside the River Oaks Mall. I am so happy for her, and I can't wait to be there for the ribbon cutting. Good luck to the athletes of the Calumet City Chargers as they play their first game of the fall season on the road this weekend. That is all I have. Please be kind to each other. Nothing beats a failure but a try and a good conversation. Be neighborly. And please always remember, stop signs are not optional. Slow down.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Navarrete.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to start off by extending a thank you to Superintendent Joe Zotto of School District 155 for the invitation to set up a booth and interact with residents at the Back to School event that'll take place September 10th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So I'll be out there to chat with residents. So I want to thank him for the opportunity, be able to welcome kids back to school. Also, the time is finally around the corner for the Walk the Ward planning event. Seems like we've been talking about this for about a year now, because we have. COVID has, the pandemic has unfortunately delayed this project, but we are set up for September 18th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. There will be 6 stations, just to remind everyone. We will start at City Hall. There will be 2 stations here at City Hall, 2 stations at Memorial Park, and 2 stations at the St. Victor church site. These stations will go and touch on things from budgeting to city planning. The First Ward has worked hand in hand with Val Williams and our great economic development team to secure grants for planning initiatives. So we have 3 plans: the Burnham Plan, the State Street Plan. We worked on Memorial Drive planning initiatives. So this event is made to kind of bring all those plans together, get some feedback from the community, and try to prioritize some of these recommendations that have come out of these plans. So I really urge residents to please come out and participate. There will be a prize drawing. There will be a grand prize of a 50-inch television for those who complete all 6 stations. I promise that these stations will not take long. They're very interactive, kid-friendly. So I think it's going to be a great time. We're hoping that we get a lot of feedback from the community. It's important, again, to prioritize some of these next initiatives. Just lastly here, I want to thank also the presentation for ShotSpotter and commend our public safety workers that are represent Calumet City. I think we had a moment of silence today as a stark reminder of some of the challenges you all face every day, and any tools that we can give you, and I fully support. So just thank you and be safe. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman. Item number 8 are informational items. We went through several. I would like to entertain a motion to accept items 8A through I and place them on file.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Patton, second by Alderman Smith. All in favor? Gardner, I'm sorry. Gardner, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to go into executive session, a brief executive session for the employment of a specific individual and potential impending litigation.
So
Motion made by Alderman Gardner. Is there a second by Alderman Wilson? We will go into a brief executive session, and we will come back and finish the action. Roll. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Got reminded, we're in executive session, so everyone please, we will come back and finish the agenda items in probably 10, 15 minutes. Is there a motion to go back into regular session?
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Williams. Is there a
Se-
second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Smith at 7:04 PM. We are back in the regular order of business. Next item is under new business. I'd like to remove item 9, A1, A2, and A6 and A7 from the new business items. So the motion, if anyone has any questions under 9A, I'd like to entertain the motion to approve items 9A3, 4, and 5.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Williams, second by Alderman Wilson. Roll call.
Smith,
Yes.
Navarrete,
Yes.
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Patton.
Thank you. Item B under building permits. You have before you the addresses under building permits and fence permits. Are there any questions regarding the items? If not, can someone make a motion to approve the fence construction and garage construction on the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Gardner, second by Alderman Patton. Roll call.
Navarrete,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Williams, Gardner,
Yes.
Patton. Smith.
Yes.
Give me a second. I am looking for, I'm sorry. Item C on the agenda, resolutions. I'd like to entertain a motion to have these items tabled until the next meeting.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Patton, second by Alderman Williams. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes to table items, resolutions, and ordinances. Under financial matters, we have a correction to the agenda. I mentioned earlier that we'll have good news. Under item 8, the shot spotter on the agenda, the amount stated on the agenda should be reflected as $187,725. So it's a savings of $45,000, correct, Chief?
I think it's just under $40,000.
So we have the corrected invoice for the alderman. So the savings is great savings to the city, but please correct that item on the agenda to reflect $187,725. And
Amen.
yes. Do you want to take item 14 separately?
No, I think,
Alderman, do you have an amended motion?
Yeah, it's going to be a motion to approve settlement in the case of Steve Wheaton versus Calumet City as discussed in closed session.
Is there a second for that amended motion?
Second.
Second by Alderman Patton. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The agenda will reflect the amended motion for item 8 and item 14. If everyone is okay, Alderman Gardner, if you want to make a motion, entertain a motion, financial items D1 through 17.
So moved.
Second.
15 to 17,
Clerk, can you say, I'm sorry,
1 to 14, and 15 to 17.
1 through 13 and 15 through 17.
So moved.
Is that your motion, Alderman? Alderman?
Yes.
Motion made by Alderman Gardner for the amended agenda items. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Smith. Roll call.
Williams,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Patton,
yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Navarrete,
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Under unfinished business, under the mayor's report, I have two appointments that I'd like to submit to the city council. The first appointment is for our assistant police chief. To say the name correctly, I will defer to Treasurer Tarker, so I'm not butchering the name.
Kwiatkowski.
Keith Kwiatkowski. We want to invite our chief up before we approve the appointment, just to say a few words and
Good evening. Keith Kwiatkowski began his career in law enforcement in January of 1999 after being hired as a police officer in Burnham, Illinois. In 2002, he left the Burnham Police Department and joined the Glenwood Police Department to pursue additional career opportunities. With close ties to Calumet City, he had his mind set on becoming a police officer here in Calumet City. The dream became a reality in 2004 when he was hired by Calumet City. During his time as a police officer here in Calumet City, he worked several different assignments, including patrol officer, tactical officer, canine officer, and detective. Additionally, he served as a task force officer with the Ileana Regional Gang Task Force, a task force officer with the Drug Enforcement Administration Chicago Strike Force, and also an investigator with the South Suburban Major Crimes Task Force. Keith was promoted to sergeant and was assigned as a field supervisor in the patrol division. His most recent assignment was supervising the Calumet City Police Department's tactical unit, a unit which is responsible for narcotics enforcement and crime suppression. He has received numerous commendations, including the Life-Saving Award for an incident which occurred in 2010. He was twice recognized as the Calumet City Officer of the Year, once in 2010 and a second time in 2018. He has demonstrated strong leadership skills throughout his career and his commitment to the City of Calumet City and the Calumet City Police Department. With this leadership team in place, we will continue to reach out to you, the residents. We need your help, we need your eyes, we need your ears to help us continue to keep Calumet City safe. I encourage you to work with us. Join a block club, attend the ward meetings. Working together, we will be successful. Thank you.
thank you, Chief. And at this time, I'd like everyone to recognize our, well, let me put up the appointment first. The appointment of Keith Kwiatkowski for the appointment of the position of Assistant Police Chief for the City of Calumet City for a term not to expire on April 30th, 2022. Is there a motion? Motion made by Alderman Patton, second by Alderman Williams. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Yes, Smith. Patton.
Yeah.
Gardner.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Navarrete.
Yes.
Congratulations, Keith. Come on up so everybody can see you.
Thank you very much. Just ask you to repeat his name one more time for clarification.
Keith, can you repeat your name just for clarification for the record?
Say it the right way. I can say it the American way, Kwiatkowski, but Kwiatkowski is the Polish way.
Congratulations. The next appointment is I'm hereby appointing Jesse Tate for the appointment of Superintendent of Maintenance. He will also be doing a boots on the ground program with Community Development with Val for the position of City of Calumet City for a term to expire on April 30th, 2022. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Patton, second by Alderman Smith. Roll call.
Navarrete.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Patton.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Congratulations, Jesse.
I didn't know I wasn't gonna say nothing, but I just want to thank everybody. excited about the boots on the ground, connect everybody with the businesses, the liaison between the city and the businesses. So I just want to thank everybody for this opportunity.
Thank you, Alderman. We have some great news from our city treasurer. We just got notified that our EAV has climbed to, last year was 355 million, and this year our EAV has climbed to 492 million.
It was about a $70 million jump. It was 422 or 23 million. You're
So
surprised.
that's great news for the city. All of the efforts that we're putting in to rebuild Calumet City, we know that people are noticing. So I want to thank the aldermen for all of your support. This is great news for our residents. Home values will go up. Everyone just got their tax bill. But we should know that Calumet City is headed in the right direction. So congratulations to the aldermen, clerk, team, the treasurer. The treasurer was gleaming with the news about the EAV going up. So that's a credit to all of us. And there's more to come, but I want to thank the aldermen for your support as well. The next couple items I just want to mention to the residents. Many of you know that the governor has issued a mask mandate, which will take effect on Monday. I want to just encourage everyone to not only heed the mask mandate, but as we start bringing out more vaccination programs, we're going to encourage residents who are not vaccinated. Calumet City right now is at a 40.6 vaccination rate, which means that half of our residents are vaccinated. We're going to not only do an educational program with Alderman Patton and our health commissioner. We want to make sure that everyone gets educated on the vaccine so we can bring those numbers up, and we'll be able to enjoy our community. As of now, the governor's mask mandate starts on Monday, so we'll encourage everyone to not only heed that, but also if you have any questions, you can call Alderman Patton and also work with our health commission. And we'll make sure, but we're going to work together to make sure that we get everyone vaccinated or answer questions, so we're down the road of health and safety for our community. The next items are just a series of updates for residents. We're actively asking our public works team, and we want to thank them for all of their hard work to help keep our city clean. But we're also going to extend that to our residents. We're asking residents to participate in keeping our city clean. Back in the day, residents came outside and they swept in front of the house, or if there was a business that they knew that was not doing those things, they called the office or helped that business. So we're going to ask everyone to help our public works team and help our city by not only picking up in front of your house, but also working with businesses. It's not my direction to make sure we fine everyone. We want to make sure that everyone's working together. We're also asking our waste contractor to do more as well. We just had a meeting with our public deputy commissioners to encourage our waste hauler to make sure that they clean up our alleys more. So we're asking residents to join us in this fight to help keep our city clean. And we'll make sure that we have public works out on the areas that everyone is reporting. They've been out cleaning out the mall, even though that's not their responsibility, but we're making sure that we help keep our city clean. We heard you loud and clear, Alderman, about the beautification, so we're going to make sure we keep that going and keep that in the forefront of the residents. We want to thank our police and fire department for not only going out contacting businesses, but also the foot patrol that you've been doing. The residents are noticing, and we want to thank you publicly for the great job you're doing. I know Fire Chief Bacher, we had an update on the St. Margaret issue. I don't know if you want to do that now or if you want to do it at a future meeting, but I think that's great news for that the aldermen need to be aware of. And just for the public, a couple months ago, St. Margaret's announced that they were closing through the efforts of my office and with the fire chief. We can announce some of the news that we have now, and we're still negotiating to make sure that we keep a presence here in Calumet City.
Right. Yeah, with the help of the mayor, obviously, St. Margaret's, effective this past Monday, the 23rd, they are going to remain as a micro hospital. So that just basically, we are able to transport the majority of our patients there. They do have a couple of exceptions, but that's adopted by IDPH, Illinois Department of Public Health. But the majority of our patients are still able to go there. And that went into effect again on Monday. So far, so good. We'll see what the future holds, because some things obviously have changed in the past when it came to St. James. We're hoping that's not going to be the case here. So they have started the process already. There's a lot of employees there that are looking elsewhere. But right now, the ER is remaining as is, and again, majority of our patients are still able to go there.
Yeah.
Any questions at all?
Yeah. It's good news. Yeah. Thank you, Chief. Unfinished business, Alderman Navarrete.
Thank you, Mayor. Just briefly, I want to thank residents for being patient. I was lucky enough to go on a week-long retreat with my church out in the mountains of Montana, so I was off the grid for a week there and catching up with the office with phone calls back to residents. So thank you for being patient with that. It was certainly nice to get away, but you always come back to more work, it seems like. And I know, Mayor, you touched on the cleanup stuff along with Alderman Patton. Also, it was very noticeable and appreciated the aggressive emails that were sent out regarding the cleanup of the expressway off-ramps and on-ramps. It certainly looks a lot better, and I know it's an issue, so hopefully it can stay clean, but if there's any way we can try to find people that just seem to want to exit and dump garbage off, but certainly a night and day difference. I know Alderman Tillman has been advocated over the years to get that cleaned up, and it always seems to kind of get bad again, but those aggressive emails seem to have worked there. So that's all I got for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And Alderman, to that point, I will stay as aggressive as I can with IDOT. They're listening to us, and they're not only committed to clean, but as our city engineer can tell you, that we want them to respect Calumet City just like they do other towns and keep our off-ramps clean. It's simple. They can come out every 2 weeks and clean it, or let us clean it. And through our city engineer, we're making sure that we keep them on that schedule to keep those off-ramps clean. And just encourage people to stop dumping your trash on the off-ramp. I mean, you keep it in your car or do something else, but we pick up tons of garbage on those off-ramps. So thank you for that. Alderman Wilson?
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to say thank you to the residents for your prayers. Thank you for Robin Johnson for checking in on me. No, I am not okay. I dropped my baby off to college in Atlanta. That was a long drive to Morehouse, but I know he'll come back a man of Morehouse. I do want to piggyback off the mayor with, please keep the alleys clean and in front of your house clean. IDOT has done a fantastic job on Torrance Avenue in the 2nd Ward. We want to keep those streets clean as well. If you have any questions, you can contact me directly at 708-891-8192. If you don't reach me there, you can reach me at 708-586-4990. Or the best method to contact me is email, mwilson@calumetscity.org. Thank you. God bless Calumet City. God bless the 2nd Ward.
Thank you, Alderman Wilson. Alderman Williams?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to congratulate all of the new appointees. Look forward to working with you. So be expecting a phone call from me for something. Also want to let the residents know we still have school supplies available, some basic supplies, book bags, pens, pencils, notebooks. Sorry, no iPads or laptops or anything in the 4th Ward. You might want to contact Alderman Patton for that. All right? That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Williams. Alderman Gardner?
Thank you. It would be remiss of me if I didn't mention the support of Calumet City Professional Firefighters, local Union 621, for their support and food donation to the back to school giveaway. And I want to thank Police and Fire Commissioner Brian Carradine, who burnt up the hot dog. And also Networks Barber College, in their support, they provided free haircut vouchers for the children going back to school. So thank you all. I forgot to mention you guys, and please charge me to my head, not my heart. Thank you, Mayor.
And to Networks Barbers, you know, the alderman provided us shirts, and I had to get the small and the large, so if you can take the alderman's sizes, because I just dumped the shirts he gave me in the bags, so if you want to provide more shirts, yeah. But thank you for all that you do in the community and for being a great business in Calumet City. Alderman Patton?
Thank you, Mayor. Two quick items. First of all, I'd just like to ask all of our residents to keep all U.S. military personnel serving around the world in your prayers this week and right now, especially as they're dealing with everything that's going on with the current situation. And secondly, I'd like to congratulate Jesse Tate on his appointment tonight. You know, I've known Jesse for a number of years. He's always been a phenomenal worker at Public Works. Anytime I've ever interacted with him, he's been top-notch. And of course, you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize the fact that he is the resident of the best ward in the city of Calumet City.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of items. First and foremost, I want to congratulate and thank Val Williams for her service. I work pretty closely with Val on I'm trying to bring many businesses to Calumet City. Her work is very, very impressive, especially on everything she does. Wilder Foods at the Target Space, 79th Street Barbecue, and just several other ones, you know, especially with the grant. So I just want to say heartfelt thank you. Thank you for all that you do. Also, the 600 Buffalo resurfacing, I am working with Farnsworth, which is our new engineering group, on getting that sorted out, along with other streets. That is at the top of my priority list as far as resurfacing within the ward. More information to come from me along with the mayor's team. Also, please continue to report your issues and concerns regarding any vacant properties or unkept properties to the ward. And also, with respect to Wilder Foods and 79th Street Barbecue, there are some employment opportunities. If you're interested, please contact the office at 708-891-8197 or email me at asmith@calumetscity.org, and I'll provide that information as to how you can apply. And once again, congratulations to the new appointees. I look forward to working with you. All of you all I know, but I look forward to working with you closely. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Treasurer Tarker, any unfinished business? No. Madam Clerk, any unfinished business? Seeing there no further business to come before the City Council, is there a motion to adjourn 7:28 p.m.?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Patton, second by Alderman Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned at 7:28 p.m. Thank you, everyone.